there is this rotation of about 15 to 20 songs that pop on TikTok. Everyone's using the same clips of the songs and they blow the fuck up. And then I go on Spotify and there's a playlist, and it's literally a playlist that's on the front page of Spotify, and it's called Big on the Internet. And it is a playlist of all the big TikTok songs. And I just thought that was so interesting, because the fact that you can now have a social media platform with influencers that's actually going back and dominating the music charts is pretty crazy. And I remember hearing about this for the first time like a year ago when Old Town Road blew up. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So Old Town Road from Lil Nas X blew up from TikTok because
Was it
people were
TikTok?
doing like
I didn't even
the
know
Old
about
Town
TikTok
Road
back
challenge.
then.
Yeah, and I remember I met with the TikTok guys when they came to Australia, like maybe almost a year ago. And they were like, we're growing really fast. This is blowing up. Like, songs are having a massive impact on it. People are doing challenges. And I remember, you know, I would have to say, like, at the time I was a little bit skeptical, because I think we've heard in the past of different social media platforms trying to come up and it not necessarily working
Vast
that
majority
well.
of the time.
Yeah. But to TikTok's credit, they have absolutely like completely taken over the internet. And what I kind of wanted, this is kind of a roundabout topic, but one of the things that I really noticed on TikTok was the fact that there's this whole genre, and I think a bunch of the biggest TikTok stars are doing these dance videos right now. So they're doing like dance routines, these little clips of songs that then blow up on Spotify. And these people are uploading between like 5 to 10 TikTok videos a day. So they are pumping out content, but they're not necessarily pumping out super unique content every time. They're just literally dancing to the same songs
putting out
every
stuff.
day, and it's volume. It is like a high volume platform.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, like when Vine was the thing, I don't really remember seeing that much dancing on it. And I remember the people who were super big, like, you had to be good. You had to be really creative to be a good Viner, because you needed to think up a skit that you could fit into, what was it, 10 seconds? 6 seconds? It was 6 seconds?
I think so.
How do you do anything in 6 seconds? But anyway, long story short, yeah, you're right. The difference in platform is crazy, because, yeah, you had to think up something bite-sized that you could fit into 6 seconds, that was funny, that would engage with your audience, and was relatively unique. Then TikTok, it's just get as much out there as you can.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I'll see like a really funny, creative, thoughtful TikTok and it's got nothing. And then I'll see another, which is someone doing, I'm gonna be real, like a pretty mediocre dance.
The quality's
not that
insane.
catchy. Quality's not crazy. And it's like, oh, this one has like 30 million views.
Crazy.
Like, why does that one? It doesn't make sense. And why that works. Why is that a thing? Why are people watching that? It's literally like when I am explaining what I do to like our grandparents or, you know, someone else's parents, and they're like, right, so you just talk while you play game. Why don't they just play the games themselves? I don't get it. And you
TikTok feels like that.
TikTok's like that for me, where it's like it clearly has a huge audience. It is clearly very entertaining to people. I just don't get it.
I think you see it on other platforms sometimes where people find a format that works. They find a video style that works on YouTube. They find a photo style that works on Instagram, and they just double down on it. Like, you know, I think the money videos on YouTube is a good example of it. People love hid $1,000 or did this and someone wins $10,000.
Last person to leave
wins
the bathtub.
$100,000.
Yeah.
Or they find bikini pics on Instagram and it's like a girl and she realized that whenever she uploads a video in a bikini, it does really well.
Shocking.
And I feel like on TikTok, people have found this little formula that is working, and they are not just doubling down on it, but like 10xing on it.
Yeah.
And they're literally taking it to the micro of almost uploading the same content every single day. And I think TikTok is just an example of a platform that's in this insane growth period where people can find these little hacks on the platform and just go hard and feel massive reward. Because this girl, who's the biggest person on the platform right now, Charlie D'Amelio, she grew 1 million followers in a day. Like a day. That is no small feat.
You know what's interesting? I feel like this is just getting more back end into like just the way the app works. But TikTok doesn't, on a thing like YouTube, I subscribe to a channel that's like a big decision. People don't subscribe to channels lightly.
Yeah.
And then, I always see those videos in my sub box and I become very engaged with every bit of content that they post. Whereas on TikTok, you can follow people, but it doesn't really seem to do that much. Your feed isn't based on who you're following. You still get a mix of a bunch of different people. So on most platforms, for example, if I were to put out 10 videos a day of basically the exact same thing, after a while, my subscribers are like, what are you doing? I'm seeing the same thing 10 times a day. Whereas I think with TikTok, it literally is just throwing darts at a dartboard. You just throw and throw and throw and throw and throw, and you can post two things that are basically identical. One of them will get 100 million views, and the other one will get 100,000.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think that's what people are realizing with TikTok. And I think it's something that TikTok maybe hasn't quite worked out themselves yet, but they haven't. But there really isn't always the strongest correlation between good quality content and what gets promoted.
But also, I feel like sometimes that's just kind of social media content in general. Like, people don't necessarily want the best or highest quality content. They just want like consumable, relatable stuff. And maybe that's why they're popping off so much. But the growth is insane. I can't imagine how these kids are going to continue to grow at the rate that they are right now.
Yeah. No.
I also think it's fascinating that it still doesn't seem to be overly monetized. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of brand deals happening on it. They're obviously not paying creators in the way that YouTube or Twitch pays creators. So I'm curious because TikTok clearly has developed this mass intense power because they're literally influencing the music charts. So they're taking over a whole nother platform of entertainment and creating a huge splash.
Surely they're going to struggle to monetize it though, because I think about YouTube, and if I put 2 seconds of a copyright song in one of my videos, I've got 8 different companies claiming my video, saying that, hey, you used this little bit of copyright stuff, now everything's ours.
Yeah.
We're coming for your house. Like, I just don't understand how, I think right now, obviously, it's just so new that people are kind of giving it time to figure itself out. But if TikTok as a platform, not entirely, but largely to a point, is based on copyright music with video behind it, then surely at a point the record labels, who are getting increasingly worried that they don't have enough money, trying to find new revenue streams, surely they're going to say, hey,